So, Mark, so many travelers were stranded over the holidays, but a lucky few were stranded in Las Vegas, the best airport in the world. Why? Because they have a pop up bar. What other airport has a pop up? They don't have one of those in Detroit, do they?
No, I think feel like I've had it when I've gone to the Caribbean. They have like that little bar when you walk out and they give you a drink or whatever. But no, when I saw that, I was thinking really needed these for Southwest people. Like they should have put a bar in everywhere that Southwest people were stranded last week.
Yeah, how well do you think the bars and airports did with so many people stranded? Of course, McCarran or Harry Reid Airport had so many bags. There was crazy amounts of pictures, but it was just everywhere in the country, but especially in Southwest hubs, which Las Vegas is one, Phoenix, many others. It was an insane holiday season, but Vegas can still be Vegas. Even if you're stuck in the airport, there's a liquor store, there's pop-up bars. You can still have fun.
Yeah, I love the video of a guy after like 3 days finds his bag and he like just screams out while he's hugging it. And he's like, sorry, everybody, it's been a week.
All right, Mark, there is a lot to cover on this show, but let's start with the rumor mill, a vital Vegas rumor. So we will caveat this by saying he's been known to be wrong with his rumors in the past, but this is an interesting one to talk about. He says that the M Resort may be in discussions to be sold to MGM. So MGM, of course, has made a lot of moves. They've sold land. They've picked up operations of Cosmo. They sold the operations of Mirage. The M Resort is way south of the Strip. It is the Raiders official hotel, and they did announce a new tower, a couple months ago, that they're going to start construction on. It's sort of a strip-like casino, I would say, but it's very much a locals casino, but it's very nice. So I don't know. You think this is true or just the rumor mill being the rumor mill?
Maybe they're trying to save money. They only need to add the GM to the M, and it's a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, that
but
was
no.
the same joke Vital Vegas gave. So congratulations on that.
Dang it. I don't see this happen. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, we've seen MGM dump some properties and try to get more consolidated so they're all in like a row on the Strip and everything. So I don't see why they would add one South Strip. I mean, if you're going to go for a local casino, I feel like this would be the best fit as far as like the architecture, the feel and the vibe and everything. But I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I'm sure locals would not be happy if this did happen.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Penn National hasn't had the greatest success in Las Vegas. They just sold the operations of Tropicana to Bally's Corporation. So, there is perhaps a strategy of theirs to get out of the market. What's interesting, though, is they rolled in the land from both Tropicana and the M Resort into their REIT. So if they did sell the M, it would be the operations and their REIT would still control the land most likely. So that is a potential scenario. We know MGM has been asset light with what they've been doing, but yeah, I'm not buying this until we see something a little bit more concrete. It seems like the M Resort is a flagship property. Penn, it's their only property now in Las Vegas, and they just announced an expansion. So unless the price was really crazy or something, I don't see it happening. I should also mention that Station Casinos, a few weeks ago announced Inspirada Station, which is just a couple miles, really in the same area. And on the next show, I will show you guys what it looks like. I was recently out there, filmed the site of where Inspirada Station is, and you'll kind of be able to see what that will all look like. But more competition coming. I don't know. I don't see this as a good fit for MGM.
Yeah, especially like you said with them, doing the addition, unless they ran into money problems or financial issues for building, I don't see why they would get out of it after they just announced that they're going to be expanding. And if they are expanding, they must be doing well. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. But and I hope it doesn't happen because we don't need MGM just gobbling up another casino. So hope we keep some independence there. That'd be great.
All right, so let's talk about New Year's Eve. It was almost ruined by a big storm. The weather forecast had rain coming. And indeed, like at 11:30, 11:40, there was this giant storm on the west side of the valley, huge amounts of rain. But it seemed to stick west of I-15, and all of the fireworks shows were able to go off on the Strip and even downtown at Plaza. That drone show went off. It looked like a great time, and there were some bad things that happened, especially downtown this week. We'll talk about a little bit later. But overall, the Strip, I think they said 400,000 people came to Las Vegas for New Year's Eve. The fireworks show was incredible. I don't know that it was any more special than past years, but there's nothing more unique than seeing those fireworks go off across multiple casinos. And as for the Plaza with their separate show, what I saw of it, the videos on Twitter and elsewhere, looked pretty cool.
Yeah, the drones looked really cool. I'm glad they did that. And, we are in a copycat society, so I expect fully that the Strip and other casinos will add it next year. But my favorite video was the one from the helicopter where you could see like the whole strip view going off and all the fireworks, and that made me think like, is Legacy Club, and I'm sure it's like an insane amount of money to get into, but don't you think like at Circa and Legacy Club, like being up there with that view of the strip would probably be the best place to watch the fireworks? I feel like that would be the most unique view that you could get.
I think the Palms Ghost Bar is probably the best place to watch the fireworks just because it's closer, but certainly Legacy Club has that view straight down the strip, and they would have a really close view of Plaza and that show as well, almost right on top of it. So I think Legacy Club certainly would be a great place. I saw a video from the Palms Ghost Bar. I've been up there. I think that has probably the best side-to-side view. A friend of mine was on the Area 15 liftoff at the time of the fireworks. That would be pretty incredible.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it looked like an incredible time. It went off really well. I think on the strip they spent $600,000 on the fireworks this year, and it just went off as expected. So that's always good for Las Vegas for that, iconic thing. I feel like these days there's two iconic places to go for New Year's Eve in the US: New York, Times Square, or the Las Vegas Strip. I've never been to Times Square, been to the Strip. It really is unique. It's a crazy atmosphere. It's not for the old at heart, but if you're young at heart, something everybody should probably try. And this year I sort of got that feeling, so maybe next year I'll go out on the Strip. I noticed there was a ton of YouTubers out there live streaming, so good for them for going out and creating content and showing everybody what it was like.
I feel like Vegas would be the better bang for buck for that too. Like I had a friend that was looking to go to New York City for Times Square, and they were going to stay at like the Hyatt Centric, and they wanted something like $1,200 a person to get into the New Year's Eve party, and they weren't even guaranteed a view of Times Square or anything. The prices are astronomical, like Grand Prix prices in Vegas. So I feel like, you can get out on the Strip, you can walk in there. You're not as crammed. Like you see people on TV in Times Square, and it's like wall-to-wall people, where at least the Strip is a long, area that you can find spots and pockets that aren't so crammed. So I think Vegas is probably the better option, the one I'd be more likely to do. And I know it's on the list to talk about the trash and the cleanup afterwards. And, I saw the pictures and how much effort goes into it, and thanks everybody that does that job that nobody wants after, a big party. But all I could think was, that looks a lot better than New York. I mean, it's more spread out, but New York just looks terrible afterwards.
Yeah, it's definitely more spread out, so more space. And that's a good thing, right? When you're in big crowds all night, it's tiring. Even if you're having fun, being able to kind of get away from people for a minute is good. And with the whole Strip open up, your dream, right? Your pipe dream, having the whole Strip closed off to traffic, it works pretty well.
It can happen.
All right, so let's talk revenue numbers really quickly. The Nevada Gaming Control Board released the numbers for November 2022. And while we're not going to go into all the details here, basically the numbers are slightly down from 2021 from their records. The casinos are still doing really well. I think $1.22 billion in statewide gaming revenue in November of 2022 compared to 1.321 in 2021. So about a 7.6% change to the negative. Is this the sign that finally it's slowing down in Vegas?
I don't know. It is weird because we've been doing this show for a while, and every month they're up pretty much. This is the first time I can remember that it's been a dip year over year. So interesting to see. We've been waiting for this for a while. We predicted it to happen earlier in the fall to start to see dips. So I'm not surprised. I do think it's, coming down from peaks, but it's still going to be, still seems strong compared to the norms. So I don't expect that to change too much. I mean, December numbers will be interesting to see compared to the year. If it's a 2 or 3 month in a row where it dips, then you're seeing a trend. So I don't think you can say much after 1 month, but I definitely wouldn't be shocked to see it dip for a few more months.
And year over year for the entire year, still slightly up. So as a trend, 2022 probably going to be better than 2021. But my guess would be 2023 not as good. But we shall see, because there's a lot going on this year in Las Vegas. Now we got to cover some, not so good news. And that was at the Fremont Street Experience, where I think 2 days in a row, or 2 out of 3 days, there were some big events there. There was a pedestrian hit and run on 4th Street and Fremont. 2 pedestrians were crossing the road against the walk, so they didn't have the walk signal. And they got hit by a drunk driver who drove away from the scene but was later caught, and they both died. And then there was a shooting where 2 people were shot on Fremont Street, right on the Fremont Street Experience. So yeah, it's rough. What do you think about the safety there? I've made that video on Midnight on Fremont Street. Is it safe? A couple years ago with my wife, we felt safe, but there have been shootings. There are metal detectors there, which is strange considering that this gun was clearly on Fremont Street. What do they do to fix this?
I mean, more police presence, I think, is the only thing you really can do. I mean, metal detectors only do so much because you got people coming in and out of the casinos and stuff, so you're not checking every entry point. So, you know, we've talked about this. Fremont Street was like one of my favorite places in Vegas back in, early like 2010s, 2008, something like that. And then when they started to add the zip lines and more stuff, it got more and more crowded, and it just didn't have the same vibe as the same open air feeling, the same vibe, just the fun atmosphere. And the last couple of years, it's like, it seems where everybody goes, and it's just been so crowded. It's so hard to move. And that's what's scary about these things is it's so packed that if, where do you run to if something like this happens? So I will say, like, I saw somebody with like a kid on their shoulders right down from where the shooting is. With everything that's happened on Fremont Street, please don't take your kids there at night. Like, I can't stress that enough. It just doesn't seem like a good decision. I'd go there during the day. At night, I'd probably try to get out of there unless I was staying at one of the casinos, and I'd be in the casino at that point. But it's not somewhere I'd want to hang out at night anymore.
Yeah, especially on the weekends where you get crowds from out of town, crowds from Southern California. I will say I saw a lot of shade for people. The guy had the kid on his shoulders. There was a stroller in this one video of the shooting, and people were, talking crap about the parents. Fremont Street has always been fairly family friendly. Now, not late into the night, of course, but I remember being on Fremont Street before the canopy when I was a kid, going to Golden Nugget, eating there with my family. There's a light show. There are things there that would be interesting for kids, and a lot of people don't know sort of what the atmosphere has turned into, and I think we can blame the casinos. I think we should blame the casinos. They've created this adult sort of oasis that's created some danger. And the question is, at 8 o'clock on Fremont Street, shouldn't you be able to have a child there with the canopy and the zip lines? And no, I know this is later, but I'm just saying in general, people are saying, don't ever bring your kids there.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I don't know where the cutoff time is. When does it start to get a little bit over time? I would say, 10 o'clock maybe. But that's just a guess on my part. You could be there at 8:30. You never know what's going to happen these days. I wouldn't hesitate to bring my kids there during the days, late into the night, and people are coming to Vegas from all over, so their time schedules are always different, which makes it tough. Like if you, or have jet lag and your kid's up at 2 a.m., you're going to go walk around because what else are you going to do? And that's maybe not the best scenario these days.
Let's switch to something a little bit more positive in downtown. Fremont's new food hall has opened, and it looks pretty nice in there. They also expanded the casino and added some other stuff there, but the food hall looking pretty good. Of course, food hall trend, food court, whatever we want to call them.
Yeah, not food hall.
Yeah, we have so many food halls in Las Vegas now.
It looks nice. It does, but it looks just like a food court that you see in a nicer mall or whatever. I don't know what this. Maybe it's like instead of saying used car, it's a pre-owned car. Like that's what they're going for. Make it seem a bit fancier, but it does look like a nice setup. And I know Julian showed off some food from the one place, and the chicken sandwich looked pretty big, for $9. That's about what you pay to get it at a fast food restaurant most places. So I think the deal's better. And that's one of the things we said last show was, these food halls haven't been cheaper. They've been getting more and more expensive. So it's good to see, on Fremont Street at least, that maybe there's some quality, decent deals there. So it seems like they have enough seating for everything. And I will say the sports bar area looked really nice. The new sports book with the bar top and everything, that looked like a good place to catch a game, play some video poker or something. So I think they did nice. The finishes look all nice and a lot of seating and everything. So as long as the food is a good deal, I think it's a win for us for sure.
Yeah, it's good to see the old Fremont getting some love. And I saw this tweet about the Whiskey Liquor burger. That's the rotating bar at Binion's that's right out on Fremont Street. And the Whiskey Liquor up, there's this photo of this burger. And it looks amazing. I almost want to go out and get it. More good food on Fremont Street. So we can end the downtown discussion in a positive note, despite the really bad news of the last week.
Yeah, that looked like a burger you could split almost. It was pretty big, but yeah, you don't expect that. You think it's a place you just go have a drink, look at Fremont while you're having a drink, and if you're lucky enough to get one of the seats right out there, on the edge. It's pretty amazing, but I would never even thought that that's the place to go for burgers.
All right, and the big news of the week, MGM has sold the land where the Harvest Music Festival, the October 1st shooting happened. Part of the land, first off, they gave to the county, I think, for a permanent memorial for October 1st. So part of that land will be used for that. MGM donated that land. They didn't charge for it, anything, so kudos to them. And then they sold the rest of the land to the affiliated tribes of the Fort Berthold Indian Reservation. And this name sounded familiar, and I started Googling around, and I realized that we had covered this before, that they bought a piece of land just behind that, last year, 2021. And it seems like if you put these two pieces of land together, you have a perfect site for a new casino. This tribe, or this group of tribes, owns a casino, I think, in North Dakota. They also have a lot of money from oil reserves on their reservation. It seems like perhaps they're wanting to get into the Vegas market, although they have not announced what they're going to do there yet.
Yeah, why else would you buy it unless you're going to put a casino there? But that would be great news. You know, we've talked about how we want more than, you know, just MGM and Caesars owning Vegas, and we've been adding it slowly, new operators coming in. So this would be another one to add to that, and I think that's great. And you know, hopefully, I'm still hopeful that somebody brings back some theming, you know, so maybe they'll announce something really cool, because we've kind of lost that for a bit, and I'd love to get back to it. So I'm hopeful that they bring something unique, and I love that part of the strip. It's not getting as much love anymore these days, so it'd be nice to see an injection down there too.
You do have the Dream Hotel just down from there, so that would be two projects that potentially could happen there, and then we see all these projects on the north end of the strip. It does make me wonder long term if we're going to be able to fill all these rooms if we keep getting new casinos, but I think you're absolutely right when we're talking about new operators. And this is a sign that tribal gaming has officially arrived in Las Vegas. I know it's already happened, but just in the last couple of years, we went from no tribes owning casinos to Mohegan Sun at Virgin, to the Palms being owned by a tribal casino, to the Seminoles now buying Mirage to be the first to operate a casino on the Strip. And now this is a pretty decent size land owning. And they did say in 2021 that they could build a casino or a parking lot or whatever. They just said it was a good deal to get the land. But I'm guessing that this has been a longer term vision, and MGM just wants to get rid of that land, right? There's nothing they could really do with it after what happened on October 1st.
Parking lot for the Raiders, I guess, is it?
I guess.
Oh, let's hope it's not a parking lot. That would be sad.
But it's getting crazy to kind of keep track of all the potential new projects on the Strip. And at this point, it seems like just an absolute boom, right? When you look at Fontainebleau and all the other potential land sites, the Tillman Fertitta, the Dream, this one, other things going on, that land in front of the convention center, and then the local casinos like Durango. And, you know, it's crazy. I mean, it's just another boom in Las Vegas after, 10 years ago when everything failed, or I guess more than 10 years ago now, and things just came to a halt forever. And Resorts World was the first major casino to open after Cosmo in 2009. So it took over a decade to get a new casino. And then it just seems like we're going to be back like it was the 90s, where we're going to have a new casino opening every 1 or 2 years for the next few years. So yeah, it's good times ahead.
What if Fontainebleau, get kicked off as the Great Recession happened, and when it finishes, another recession kicks off? Would that be like... Fontainebleau is the kiss of death?
It's an exciting time to be covering Las Vegas. I know that both of us are excited to do this every week. And as a reminder, we release shows normally on Tuesdays and Fridays. Our next news show this week is going to come on Saturday, because I am going to release that Prim Valley Casino, the dead mall, show you really how bad it looks out there, half the casino floor gone. So that's going to come out on Thursday of this week, and then our second show will be on Saturday, just to fit it all in this week. So much going on, a new year, Mark, 2023.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, 2023. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things that are irons in the fire for Vegas that are, going to wrap up this year and into next year. So should be a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff to cover. People are still going in droves, so there's always going to be something funny happening.
Absolutely. So laugh along with us. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Let's discuss anything that we talked about in this video. What do you think they're going to build on the South Strip? And is that rumor about the M Resort just made up, or is it something that you think could possibly happen? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
See you on Saturday.